So I'm here today with my friend and my teacher, Alex Hing, who, in my opinion, is one of the most forward-thinking and innovative master instructors that Grandmaster William Chen's Tai Chi method. And uh, thank you, Sifu, for taking the time to do this.
My pleasure.
What's been keeping you busy these days?
Oh, well, I am involved. We still got those two Senate races in Georgia. So I'm involved in that. Been doing text banking and phone banking. I'm also involved in my union, which we are looking at the mayoral race and, the city council. Everything comes up this year. So I'm still involved in politics. And then I also ran for the board of the condo. So I'm just a political person. I can't help myself.
Okay.
That and Tai Chi, and then I cook.
Right. So you're a cook, sort of taking a hiatus from the job that you did, um, and you teach Tai Chi. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you just a general question about Tai Chi. In your opinion, what is Tai Chi, and how do you perceive its relevancy in today's world? And and with that in mind, what is your approach to teaching it?
Okay, I think that Tai Chi, if you really understand it and you practice it, it can change your life for the better on many levels. Not just health. I mean, all the stuff that Tai Chi does, legendary for health, it does. So I don't, because I've had everything that needs to be fixed, I've had it, and it got fixed with just Tai Chi. So on the health level, but on the other level, and more important than that, is that if you do Tai Chi, you you should be able to get an understanding of your situation in life and on this planet. And if you get that understanding, then it's like a calling because we are in a dire situation on our planet and we are approaching the end of humanity. And I'm not kidding. This is what science is saying with the climate change and whatnot. So if you understand it, then you should be able to do something about it. And Tai Chi enables you to do things better, to make plans, and also to act spontaneously, and also to have spontaneous ideas that can advance your work forward. So that's what I see in the short explanation.
Okay. Um, So I guess that sort of answers the end of the latter part of that question, which is what is your approach to teaching it?
Yeah, my purpose of teaching it is to have as many people on this planet as possible uh, understanding Tai Chi and in their lives work to change the energy that exists on our planet to make it more suitable for human existence.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. It's always interesting to the part of your programs that you present, uh, formerly on Facebook and now on Instagram, where you give these lessons, and there's always a section of the lesson where you sort of talk about, for lack of a better term, the philosophical um, aspects of uh, of Tai Chi Chuan and how it ties into everything else that we do. And one of the things I remember that Grandmaster Chen says is what when I came in and first started working with him was whatever you do, Tai Chi is going to make it better. And it's
That,
very interesting to see all the different people who come to those classes and to your classes as well, from all different walks of life, people in the arts, people in choreographers, Wall Street executives, people with serious health problems, people people who are just curious about movement, people who want to learn how to kick ass. Uh, and guys who practitioners who are all beat up with their knees all blown out, who are tired of doing hard style, who want to learn how to be soft. And I think and they come and study Tai Chi. So I have some questions. I mean, these are not questions. So I'm going to give you a single word, and I'm going to let you give me a one or two sentence definition, if possible. And let's just see where that goes. Just indulge me in this format. So I'm going to give you one word, and I'm going to see what you're going to say about it. So my first word is energy.
Energy is information. That's scientific, because energy contains information, and that information is seeking to connect with another piece of information. So when they align properly, they make a connection. And when the two or entities, energies, make a connection and share information, then they produce a synergy. They produce a power that is greater than each one individually. So the power increases when energy connects properly.
Okay.
But energy is just information.
Energy is information. Okay. What is imagination? That's another word. That's another one word definition for you. Imagination.
Imagination is what we build when we do Tai Chi, and it is the basis of creativity.
Okay. Okay, how about this one? Fear.
Fear is something that is hardwired in humans, and it originates uh, when we were animals, uh, fighting for our survival. But where fear comes in with humans is that fear is a fear of death, actually. Uh, it kicks in when there's not actually a fear of death. So a lot of fear that we create as humans occur in our own mind. And so we are responding to things that we don't actually have to be fearful of. And we respond to them based on as if our lives depended on it.
Okay. What is so? Well, okay. I also had death as one of my definitions, but I'm going to go to this one. Um, I'm going to go to mind, and then let me paraphrase this definition with this: heart plus brain plus gut equals mind. Can you explain what that means?
This is going to be more than a couple of words, but
Okay, that's okay.
what I feel the mind is something that begins inside your body and is generated outside your body. And the mind is not completely in your head, it's not just the brain. So I feel that we have three major organs that actually think. And I say think because they have neurons that talk to each other. And they are the large intestine or the gut, the heart, and of course the brain. Now, the heart and the gut have neurons that connect to each other that don't necessarily go up the spinal cord and connect to the brain. Some of those organs actually do, but a lot of the neurons, and there are millions of them in the heart and the gut, are thinking. They are monitoring processes that go on in the body, and they control responses to events that happen inside the body. And when these three organs connect up and generate a large, like I said, energy that connects creates a more powerful energy.
Yeah.
Creates at least an electromagnetic field that broadcasts outside our body. What that does is it allows us to process information that we don't normally process in just our thinking brain. So it gives us a feeling and it gives us information, and that information is the basis of ideas that we can act upon. So that is the short explanation of the mind. I just want to preface this by saying, when I teach Tai Chi, I don't use Taoism, although I love Taoism as a philosophy. I'm not religious, right? And I don't use anything like that, because in order to teach students, it's not necessary for them to learn or to even know Taoism. So I try to explain Tai Chi in terms of science, because that's what most of us learned when we went to school. I mean, on a basic level, most of us were introduced to science, at least scientific way of thinking. So I think that if science can help us explain reality, then science should also be able to help us explain Tai Chi. So whenever I teach, I like to use science as my basis, you know, to ground it in things that people understand. And so I use science metaphors to explain what I feel goes on in Tai Chi. So the mind, whole libraries have been written on the mind. And there are different sects and different schools trying to explain it. I'm just trying to keep it simple, right? I'm just trying to explain science, that there are neurons in these three organs, and when they make a connection, they generate an electromagnetic field. And so that energy is information that we process, and we don't process it just in our brain. We process things in our heart, and we process things in our gut. And when those three are combined, that, in my opinion, is the mind.
Okay. So, if we're talking about science, uh, let me propose another definition for you to answer to qualify. Chi. What is chi?
Qi is commonly acknowledged as life energy that is connected with the breath. Okay, so it is kind of like the breath or the spirit that animates us. And so it is a system of energy.
Okay, that's interesting. So Sifu, one of the things that I always have felt is that you are a uh, articulator of Grandmaster Chen's methods, and in a way that you bring science into his into his methods that he's been attempting to transmit to his students, um, and that makes I find it very interesting, um, that you bring these scientific definitions into your teaching, and I think it's very useful. Here's another one for you, and then I'm going to leave. Oh, let me ask you two more today. We might have to do another one of these. Straight lines and circles. Straight lines and circles.
Okay, straight lines are an illusion. Straight lines are human construction to help us understand the world. Okay, straight lines are ways of us to process data and to try to understand nature. There are no straight lines in nature. So straight lines in kind of like the Taoist context, which I think is important. I don't take Taoism a lot, but there are some things that I think that are useful. Straight lines are male, right? And the straight lines that are male are hierarchical. They go from the top down, right? And so in nature, things don't work that way. In nature, things are circular and not even perfect circles, but they are circular. And there are things about circular movement that have profound philosophical meanings. For instance, a straight line has a beginning and an end, usually, but a circle doesn't. There's no beginning, no end. It just moves. It just travels on and on. And scientifically, when I was growing up, we were taught that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And then along comes Einstein, and he says, no, the shortest distance between 2 points is a curve. So, that because it's more in tune with nature. And so a straight line has only one energy that propels it forward. And it can go on to infinity, actually, in a vacuum with nothing, to stop it, inertia, it can go on traveling forever. But a circle has two energies. It has the energy that propels it forward and the energy that pulls it down. That's what makes it a curve. So like that and like that. And you can see how that's useful for a punch. If you punch in a straight line, I don't know if I can do here, a
No,
straight
no,
line,
that's great. Yeah, the camera's gonna. Yeah,
it's not as powerful as if you go straight and then pin and then turns down. There's a pulling here that adds energy to that punch, right? So it's going like this, and then it curves down. And when it curves down, you're making a big curve so that you're able to absorb that attack into your body and run it into the ground. Um, so I'm in favor of circles as opposed to straight lines, and I think that has a lot of social implications too, because people think that there's a beginning and an end, and then there is going to be an end to this pandemic, and then it's over. So as far as I know, it's not. I mean, we can maybe get a vaccine and maybe we can stop the virus. But for me, the COVID and the virus created more than just this thing attacking our body. It also changed the world that we live in. It's a much darker world now, right? And the economy is really bad. And people are getting sick, not from COVID. They're getting sick because they are stressed. So you stop the virus with the vaccine, but all the other things that were layered upon it are still there. You still have to fix the economy. You still have to figure out how people are going to make a living when some industries are just total collapse and won't come back. So, their beginning and end is a false way of looking at things. But if you look at things in a circular movement, there are things that you can improve upon, and then they curve back and they come around again in a different iteration. Still the same problem, but a little bit different, right? So you solve that and then you get a better understanding, but it'll come around again, not the same way. So this is what my view is about Tai Chi. So every time you do the form, or every time you do a little bit of Tai Chi, that practice is layering on some information in your system, in your mind. So if you do another round, you do another repetition, that information is layered upon the one that you just did. But no two iterations are exactly alike. So there's a difference. And understanding the difference between two iterations of a thing that you repeat, there lies wisdom. I don't have to explain this to you, right? You still do scales, I bet, right? Chords, right? Even though you know them, they're different every time, right? And to
absolutely. The
understand,
applications are different as well.
right? So to understand those differences gives you wisdom, gives you power. because people that just view things as straight line, they're going to go and go and go, have a lack of imagination. And the people that understand that each practice is different, that's why I keep on practicing and I don't get bored, because there is something there that I need to understand, and that gives you power.
It's almost like it feels like to me in my daily practice of Tai Chi that the form is talking back to me somehow.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
and through your explanation of circles, I also sort of felt like you were layering on top of that the concept of spirals, spiraling down, spiraling up, connecting the toe and the fingers, all the things that I'm reminded of in my study of Tai Chi.
Yeah, when in doubt, make it a circle. That's how I've been doing. I've been eliminating all the straight lines that I can find. I'm still finding straight lines and I'm still bending them. The form is still recognizable, but I think the circles give it much more power in terms of application. It actually amplifies the power of the punch, of any activity, the throw, the punch, the kick, joint locks, everything is enhanced by the circle, spiral.
Interesting, interesting. This is all very very interesting stuff. Um, so okay, so I may run out of time with this Zoom format, but and we may have to do another one of these. But let me ask you one more definition. Um, let me see if I can get a couple more in today. So my first one is phantom tail. Phantom
Phantom
tail.
tail. I might need a little bit. Like I say, I don't believe in past lives, right? Um, I believe in evolution. And in evolution, our bodies have certain structures that are created through evolution, that develop through evolution. And we need to recognize that. For instance, when we were fetuses in our mother's womb, at one period, that embryo had a tail. And that tail is a remnant of some past uh, uh, form that we went through. And so when we were born, that tail no longer existed. But the memory of that tail,
You got your union
uh,
call coming in?
yeah, can you hold on a second? I just
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
no
see.
problem.
Hello? Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I paused that part.
So, so what I was saying is that we were born then without a tail, but we used to have one. So it seems to me that even though I don't believe in past lives, the memory of that tail is in our body. That information of that tail is there, and tails are to enhance our balance.
Hmm.
So this is where the imagination comes in, right? So based on this information and based on feeling, if you can feel as if you have a tail, that's the equivalent of like a phantom or a limb. Somebody who's in an accident or in a war loses an arm or a leg, they feel that it's still there, although they can't use it, but the circuits are still there. So I feel what I call the phantom tail is that the circuits of our embryonic tail are still there, and tails are to enhance balance. So if we just stand up on two legs, okay, we're balanced. But if you lay that tail down, then you got 3 points to balance on. It,
It
right?
almost sounds like you're saying that this tail is part of what pulls us into the grounding of our connection to the earth.
Exactly. And also, uh, when you like do a circular move, if you're whipping that tail around, it gives you much more power. Now, if you don't, if you say, well, I don't have a tail, and then you don't use it, you can still do that move. But if you add in your imagination that tail and you use it to whip you around, you will see that you'll have much more power in that turn. And also in the balance. If you're having a hard time balancing, just imagine you have a tail and put it where you can put it to enhance your balance. It works for me, so so
Okay.
that's what I call the phantom tail.
All right. Okay, so let me give you one more today. Let me give you one more today. I could do this. I consider myself to be sort of Alex Hing's, like, who was that guy who followed Samuel Johnson around, or
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Bele- what's the word for somebody who, like,
My scribe.
your biographer or something? So I
They
take notes.
call it a scribe, right?
Right.
Scribes have a very high honor in history.
Well, I guess, so I do the same thing with, also, with Master Chen's classes,
Uh,
and some of the other people maybe that I study with, but certainly for you, because of all the different formats that we've had down at the China Institute all those years. We're talking about maybe 10, 12, 15, 13, 14, 15 years ago we started doing this, where you were teaching at the China Institute.
where'd the time go?
Yeah, here we are, and here we are still here. So I have a lot of notes on you. That's how I sort of compiled this, and this is what sort of inspired me to do this. To take advantage of this pandemic and this remote format, which I think is very, very clear for presenting these types of things. So this could turn into some sort of a, I don't know, like a YouTube interview, channel or something.
Yeah,
And you're my
I
guinea
have
pig.
to get more used to it because right now, when you say just a couple of words, I'm shortening it down. I guess you know that because each question I can go off for an hour.
Well, yeah. Well, that's this. I was only proposing this as a way to sort of to go through various different subjects and aspects, because Tai Chi is so multifaceted, and there's so many layers of study, and there's uh,
Yeah.
so many ways that you can look at it, and there's so many benefits that you can get out of it, that we could talk for hours and hours and hours. That's why I was sort of, okay. So one more today.
Okay.
Mental weightlifting.
Ah, mental weightlifting is the purpose, is what we do when we do Tai Chi. If you put a barbell on the floor, and what do you do when you lift that barbell? The first thing that you do is you have to bow forward at the waist, right? And roll your elbows out and put your hands on the crossbar. And then you have to use your mind really to lift it. And when you lift it, right, you're doing that to build muscle. So the purpose of physical weightlifting is to build muscle. So when we do Tai Chi, the first posture, beginning or preparation and beginning Tai Chi, it's the exact same move. There's nothing different than bending over, rolling your elbows out, creasing the hip joint, and then lifting your hands with your mind, gripping the floor and squeezing your fingers. The difference between mental weightlifting and regular weightlifting is that we are doing it in our mind. We're starting out with wiping our mind clean to try as much as possible to empty our mind. And then when we do the action, we want to receive as much energy into our consciousness, mainly through our eyes and our ears, as we can. And so we do the same thing, right? It's almost the exact same motion as real weightlifting. The purpose is to generate our imagination. So we start out with a blank slate, and then we want to get in as much as we can. So every time we do it, we want to receive even more, even more, even more, so that we have now, I like to say, more information, so that the picture that we paint with our brain is richer because it has more nuances, because we have more information, more energy. And so that is the purpose of it, to generate our imagination. Now, imagination, all it is thought, but it's enriched thought that helps us to understand things, and where it applies to self-defense that maybe other people are not aware of. So we can see things that other people don't see,
Okay.
or we feel things that other people don't see because we are doing this mental weightlifting. And we're not doing it with our body. We're doing it with our mind, and the body just goes along for the ride.
That brings me back to one of the things that you say a lot in your classes, which is the body follows the mind. Or you don't, maybe you don't say it exactly like that.
Yeah.
There's this particular way that you have a phrase that you say where the mind generates the action and the body follows.
Yeah. Well, that's the classics that chi, our internal energy, is directed by the mind and the body follows.
Okay.
So we don't really use our body. The body is just following where the mind puts the energy. So what that means is the body is moving naturally without thought,
Mm.
right? So when it moves without thought, that is a natural movement. So for self-defense, if I'm going to think this guy's going to hit me with this left, so I'm going to have to block her with my right and counter with the left, you're going to be dead.
It
So you're
sounds
going to
like
have,
it sounds like you're thinking with you're reacting with your heart and with your gut more than you are reacting with this biological oscillator that's in our skull, which is called the brain.
well, we're operating with all three, but each has a specific function. So I think the gut is connected to the big toes of is connected to your feet. Connected, the gut is connected to the toes. I feel it. So, and I have this whole theory about it. And then the heart is connected to three fingers of each hand, and the brain is connected to everything, but mainly it is connected to the eyes and the ears. So, so they each have a like a domain that they're in charge of, although they're interconnected. So you can see if you were to try to grip the floor, you'll see that your gut is a major player in that. And when you send your hand out, you will feel that your heart is a major player in that. And then when you open up your vision, of course, your brain is the major player. So when all those three come together, that's what I call the mind. And that's what we do when we do mental weightlifting, is to integrate those three in each of their domains and integrate them and generate it out so that we get an idea of what improves our practice, right? Based on just something that you might feel. And so, like I say, so like sometimes when you do the form in the beginning, people feel a buzz on their fingers, right? Pretty much every beginner, when they do Tai Chi, wow, they notice their fingers get,
Yeah.
a buzz, they get
Every once
warm.
in a while, I get that coming back, on certain postures, like roll away, like a bird's tail.
Yeah,
Sometimes I feel when I got the motion right, when I'm doing it at the right speed to match my breath for that particular day, I
yeah,
can feel that warming of my hands right here.
yeah.
Doesn't
So
happen all the time.
I have a scientific explanation for that, which is that we don't just exist in atmospheric pressure. We exist within these electromagnetic fields that are generated from us, and we're receiving, we exist in an electromagnetic field. So if you use your imagination as if you're sliding through an electromagnetic field, it becomes like a iron nail being rubbed against a magnet. It becomes supercharged because of friction. So when you're doing the Tai Chi, you're actually moving against, there's stuff out there. We can't see it, but we're moving at least through atmospheric pressure. We are also moving through an electromagnetic field.
Okay.
So I'm saying if you use your imagination, then you can understand it. Now your fingers are charged. They're like a magnet. Now, what can I use this for? I can use this for push hands, because now I can touch somebody without grabbing them, right? I can maybe lift them a little bit just by going like this. people think that, well, that's impossible. No, it's not. There's a scientific explanation, you know, the you know, and you know, if you have this attractive magnetic force, you can lift someone infinitesimally. That's all you need to throw them. That's all you need, just a little bit.
Do you think that in our lifetime or in the near future there will be instruments or devices devised by science to measure this type of energy?
They probably have them already, but they're not applying them to what we need.
They're probably applying them to spy on people and get information that way,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. They, you know, it's all out there, but they're not using it. They're not interested in increasing the natural ability of humans and in increasing our imagination because they want to control what we think.
Yeah, so you better be careful because one day somebody's come knock on your door and kidnap you and try to extract you, and try to clone you like Yoda, and get to,
We better say
somebody
a
who
prayer
knows how
for
to
them.
somebody who
Yeah,
knows
we
how to
better
use
say a
the
prayer for
force.
them now because when they come, they don't know what they're dealing with.
Somebody who knows how to use the force, it's like an asset
Yeah,
to these types of people.
yeah.
Well,
I'm sure they have that stuff already.
right, right.
I think Russia was doing that stuff in the 50s. You know, so who knows what's out there.
Thank you, Sifu.
Oh, thank you. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
this was
My
absolutely
pleasure.
awesome. We're going to do this again.
Okay, good, good.
I'm
I like it. Okay.
I'm going to have to structure. We only went through about a third of my definitions, so I'm going to think of another couple of good general questions, and I'm going to hit you up with some more definitions because this we can really go in a lot of directions. So
Okay.
this is version one of Tai Chi Salon. Uh,
Okay.
this is Lincoln Goins signing out with Master Alex Hing. Thank you very much, and have a great day, and everybody have a great day.
My pleasure.
All right,
Okay.
Alex.
All
See
right.
you.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.